those concerned about justice, to give this John Jay Medal to one of the great champions for justice, Elie Wiesel.
Justice Breyer, President Rallis, good friends. How do I thank you? I'm pretty, but not I'm very moved, because it's a kind of historic return. The month of May in my life is always full of memories. It all happened during May 1944. And every day, therefore, I get up in the morning, say my prayers. It comes back. Another day in May, another day in May. The fact that we didn't know, we in my little town, Seattle, in 1944, didn't know what was going on in the world is this day, to me, a source of anger, anguish. I don't understand it. How is it possible? But everybody in the free world knew, in London, and the Vatican, and Washington, and Switzerland, everybody knew what was happening. We never heard the word Auschwitz. We never knew what was going on, what was waiting for us. Had we known, my little town was surrounded by mountains, in the Carpathian Mountains, the chain. And we had at our service before the ghetto a Christian woman, illiterate, but a heart of gold. Maria was her name. And she came into the ghetto, sneaked in, she brought us bread. And she pleaded with my father. She said, Mr. Wiesel, I have a hut in the mountain. Come, I'll take care of you. The Red Army was 30 kilometers away, 20 miles away. At night, we could hear the artillery exchange over the mountains. We could have gone there and survived, all of us. Why didn't we? Because we didn't know. Had the leaders of the free world then gone on the radio, we listened illegally to the radio, BBC, and they had said, Jews in Hungary, don't go to the train. Just don't go to the train, because and because and because. Believe me, many of us would not have believed it, but somehow, I think a large percentage would have gone to the mountains nearby. Why didn't we know? So therefore, comes May. It's the month for me of deep sadness and search for answers. I only have questions. How is it possible that in 1944, we in Hungary didn't know? Why didn't we know? On the other hand, in 1941, when there were the first murders, the mass assassinations of young Jews who were taken to labor camps, and I describe it in my book, one of them came back and told us a story. We didn't believe him. Why should we? Normal people don't believe these kind of things about other people, other normal people. We didn't believe it. Nonetheless, had Roosevelt, Churchill, Ben-Gurion gone on the radio and warned us, don't go, many of us would not have gone. What did we learn? No. There are so many lessons to be learned from there. First of all, of course, you heard Justice Breyer mention the word of memory. What else do we have, if not at least a deep commitment to memory? We remember the power of evil. We remember the vulnerability of the victims. We remember, of course, that the war was going on. 1944 was almost the end. And the Russian army was so near. We remember all that. What do we learn really? We learned, first of all, not to give evil a second chance. Our problem, our tragedy was, but we still believed in the goodness of the human heart. When we heard from some people who came back in 41 telling us the atrocities, we said, it's impossible, come on, poor guy, he lost his mind. Certain Wiesel the Beadle came back. And he witnessed the assassination of an entire community. We didn't believe him. And of course now I believe, woe to the prophet who speaks and nobody believes him. Worse, woe to the witness who tries to bear witness and falls on deaf ears. Then why? Why is it that the truth is not powerful enough to pierce reality and the heart of man and change history, change destiny, change society's all-powerful ways of choosing either good or evil, suffering for others. Why? I've spent my life as a student, even as a teacher. I was actually a colleague of yours when I was at City College. I was teaching at CCNY for many years. And I love teaching to this day. I'm the best student in class. I prepare my classes so well. I worked on very, very hard because they deserve it. I could give them all that I have, all that I am. And I prepare well. And nothing gives me more joy, more pleasure than to have a student in class, all of a sudden I see his or her face light up because they understood what I was saying. And I don't teach my books. I teach other people's books. I teach people's books from Middle Ages, Hasidic sources, mystical commentaries. I teach because I love to study. I'm a good student. But how does one teach